Good evening, everybody. First of all, this is a spectacular center you have out here. The first time I've been here, so you should all be very proud of this community center and the work that went involved in that. I want to thank you for the opportunity to come out and say a few words to you. As most of you know, I'm running for state comptroller. We did receive the necessary 20%, although we got 20%, we only needed 15%. And I had only been in the race about a week prior to the convention, so I did not have the opportunity to get to as many town committees as I would have liked to. Only because there were so many dominoes changing up until the final couple of weeks before the convention. And those changes then required some other changes. Just to give you a little bit of background, as has been said, I am currently serving as the mayor of the city of Waterbury. I took over the helm of the city in 2001. I was elected mayor in 2001 and actually took the oath of office in January, New Year's Day of 2002. I inherited my city at a very, very difficult time in the history of the city. It was a city on the brink of bankruptcy. We had our public trust violated in so many ways over so many different administrations. And prior to that, I had been serving in my 5th term in the General Assembly of the legislature, of which I was chair of the Insurance and Real Estate Committee. I had also previously chaired the Program and Review and Investigation Committee, which is the oversight committee in charge with subpoena authority, and loved that work there. Served all my years on the Judiciary Committee and the Finance, Revenue, and Bonding Committee in the legislature. And I was quite frankly very happy to serve in the legislature and wanted to stay, but a number of community leaders asked that I consider taking on the responsibilities of the mayor's office and all that that entailed at the time. And as I said, it was unfortunately because of tremendous corruption and mismanagement. It was a city on the brink of bankruptcy. The bond rating was not even at investment grade. There was going to be trouble even making the payroll the week that I took over. And so that was the backdrop that I sort of inherited the city. I'm obviously born, raised, educated, lived all my life here in the state of Connecticut. Very, very proud of this state. And in my 9 years as mayor, I have had 9 balanced budgets in a row. I have been able to raise the bond rating, as I said, that wasn't even at investment grade, they call it junk status, up to the AA level. I just received an upgrade from the 3 rating agencies last week, another upgrade, at the time that the state of Connecticut actually is experiencing a downgrade in its bond rating. There was no undesignated fund balance when I took over. Today there is a $20 million undesignated fund balance. I'm capped at that for now until I straighten out some of the earlier bond language. That's 5%. I'd like to take the undesignated fund balance up to 8% because I think that's a much more safer business practice for a municipality, and I plan to do that, and I would have done it but for the restrictions to hold it at the 5% level. I also inherited a city that the pension fund had been greatly decimated as a way to camouflage what was going on in the city. When I took over, they had less than 5% funding level. That means 95% of the municipality pension was unfunded. 3 years ago, last year, I had a successful pension obligation bond sale. It will save over the life of the term of the pension fund over $175 million. So I took the $460 million unfunded liability and brought it down $175 million. And when we were originally going to do it, I began to look and I saw some very turbulent clouds on the horizon. And the day that all of the advisors and people were pushing me to sort of push the green button, I froze the sale. I said, we're not doing it today. Ultimately, I have to answer for all of the finances of the city. And it was at the time when the market was at 14,000 points. Several weeks later, the bottom fell out, and we saw the market fall to 7,000 points. So by holding back and waiting, and then actually doing the bond sale later, I avoided losing probably 50% of what would have been the pension obligation bond sale. So that's just a little bit of background. Obviously, I wanted to give you about myself. Prior to obviously even doing any of that, I was an assistant attorney general for the state of Connecticut. I served under Joe Lieberman, clearing Marty Riddle, and Dick Blumenthal. And then, of course, when I became elected to the legislature, you cannot have a position in the executive and legislative branches at the same time, and gave that up. You probably see some of my trucks running around your area, and I hope the drivers are being mindful of the rules of the road. We have a very successful fruit and produce distribution company. We deliver to many of the supermarkets, not just in Connecticut, but Rhode Island, Massachusetts, and New York. We're based out of Waterbury, Connecticut, right off of I-84. And so I have a tremendous business background, government background, and I think those are the skills that we need to bring forward to the state of Connecticut, because we are facing very serious decisions. And you can't be afraid to make hard decisions and even give up your seat if you have to in an election. Too many times people are saying yes and camouflaging the situation we face today. When the legislature decided to borrow $1 billion, mortgage future energy receipts and tax receipts to $1 billion, and empty the entire undesignated fund balance by $1 billion. You know, next administration has to face almost a $4 billion unfunded or projected operating deficit, and you have $60 billion in growing of unfunded liabilities. So I'd like to offer those services to the people of Connecticut, and I'm on row B on the August 10th primary. And if you need any, I left next to Denise's beautiful shopping bags. Make sure you get one of those. I saw her passing them out West Hartford Celebrate the other day. I've got a little yellow flyer that looks like this, and it has some information. And you can also go on www.mikejarjura.com, and there's a bunch of information there. And we've only had 30 days. We're trying to qualify, obviously, for the public financing. It's a tremendous job to do in 30 days. We just reached the halfway point. And if anybody's so inclined, they can actually donate through the website if you're so inclined. Pat, I've got to get Pat, she just gave me a check, I got to get her the form to sign while I'm here. And again, I thank you. I won't take up a lot of your time. I know you've got a lot of other issues. It's going to be an exciting primary. It's a very short order. And again, I think it's an opportunity for all of us to come out. But it is going to be a challenge. August 10th is a very unusual time. If the indication 4 years ago was anything, the dramatic Lieberman-Lamont race for U.S. Senate only brought out about just under 300,000 people. And then for the governor's race between Mayor DeStefano and Mayor Malloy at the time, it went down to 240,000. And for the lieutenant governor's race, it went down to 220,000. So you're looking at maybe 18 to 20% turnout on August 10th. And so, you know, there's a lot of people registered. It's just a matter of how we get them out on normally a week. Most people take vacations. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.